Rabbi Jonathan, so lovely to see you.
It's lovely to see you, Rabbi Oliver.
We were going to just have a few words of drush of Torah in preparation for Passover. And we'd spoken about what the significance is of dipping twice in salt water on Passover, one of the kind of first and key rituals of the day.
Well, it's something that means a lot to me, and you're a fellow gardener, so it'll mean a lot to you. And I find the two dippings, they're really parallel. Everybody knows about the first one, I think, that you dip lettuce or whatever it is you're using as karpas, radishes, tomatoes, celery, parsley, whatever it is, in salt water. And then you say the bracha and you eat it. The second one may be a bit less familiar. It's actually, you're supposed to dip your maror in your charoset, shake off your charoset, and then eat it. And I think they kind of balance each other beautifully, because I think your seedlings are further on than mine. You're doing brilliantly from what I understand, but we've got lettuce just germinating. And this is about growth. This is about nature. This is about beauty. And when people are enslaved, it's ruined and it's turned to tears. And that's what it's taking, wonder and wrecking it for people. And we weep with it. And that's the first dipping. And that's how we begin in slavery. And the second dipping is almost the other way around. You take your bitterness and you dip it in the charoset. And the charoset is traditionally made from foods in the Song of Songs, which is the great love song. So it's, as it were, the foods of love. I mean, there are many of them: apples and cinnamon and wine and almonds and figs and dates. There's millions of wonderful charoset recipes. So it's taking your bitterness and curing and healing it by dipping it in love, which is like the other way around. I've gone through this journey from slavery to freedom. And how am I going to cure the hurts that are with me now? I'll dip them in the love around me. And our maror grown in the garden is so strong that if you don't dip it in the charoset, you're finished for the rest of the Seder.
Yeah, I think I remember very, very fondly Passover at your house. And
I apologize now.
I think one of the things that perhaps I learned from you was actually physically crying when you bite into actually chewing and physically crying when you bite into the maror. This is something that we only really have from Ashkenazi traditions, because of course in Sephardi tradition the bitter herb is the lettuce. Tell us, it's interesting that for me this Passover, one of the things that I've been thinking about is the karpas, the spring vegetable, also speaking to that potentiality, because we don't celebrate spring in its right, but we recognize those buds on the trees and the green vegetables on the Seder table as the beginning of something new, which I think is also very crucial to this, perhaps at the very essence of this Passover festival.
Absolutely. And when one reads the Song of Songs on Pesach, traditionally on the Shabbat in the middle or at the end, and there's this lovely verse, Hanitzanim niru ba'aretz, the buds have been seen in the land. And I've been taking a great interest in buds this year. I mean, I've always loved gardening like you do, but I've been taking photographs of different buds in different stages, from their tiny incipient emergence and swelling of them to the coming of the leaves and the flowers, and hoping that nature demonstrates this longing for liberation, to be free. For the Kabbalists, the husks are what close us in, and the leaves are freedom and beauty. And I'm hoping that that'll be our journey gradually out of lockdown, back into the daylight, back into the outdoors, but with a deeper appreciation than we had before, because I think we used to take it for granted, and I take it less for granted than I did.
Yeah, and I really relate to this, the buds and the seeds germinating, as you described earlier, are this indication of potentiality. If we imagine this system, this well of energy which dwells beneath the surface, and the indicators of spring that are both outside and also on our Passover Seder table are these markers of the energy that is within. And I think it's an energy both that's within the person to re-emerge, as you described, from lockdown, and also the energy which is in the earth to recreate and regenerate itself in the coming months. And if not now, then when? When has this Passover ever been more crucial to the spirit of us as human beings, to be able to believe that reemergence and that potentiality is possible?
That's really, really well said. And you bring to mind the fact that the Kabbalistic name for matzah is lachma sota, the bread of healing. And that's the other dipping, is taking these roots that have been sort of buried in the earth for a long time, which make the horseradish, as you say, in the Ashkenazi tradition only. And we carry with us also wounds from life, and people will carry a sense of isolation, of being buried indoors. And what we'll need to help us with that is companionship and friendship and love. And that's where I think those fruits and spices and the wine become symbolic. They represent the best of what friendship and community can be. And I think they're something we also need to enable for each other and to give each other a kind of symbolic charoset, more than just by Zoom.
Yeah, lovely. It's a symbolic marovet, a symbolic mixing of all those different aspects,
yes,
together. Like in some way or other, here what you're describing is just for a moment the essence of the table is actually the charoset, the mixing of these things together to enable the potentiality to mix with the hidden parts and so on. That sounds also important, to be able to mix those different aspects of what is on the table. Rabbi Jonathan, it's been wonderful to hear a little bit of drush ready for our Passover seder. I just wish you and your family and everybody listening a really Chag Sameach and a happy and good festival coming up.
And to you, Rabbi Oliver, and your family, Natalie and Sadie, and everybody, just good preparations, a good seder, and a good way forward of growth in the coming year.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.